All right, welcome to our Fire Up weekly Wednesday webinar again, sponsored by Newfields Ag, where we bring innovations in your fields. As always, we encourage you to visit our full service website at newfieldsag.com, where you'll find a complete listing of our products, product descriptions and videos, use and application instructions, contact information for your local dealer, pricing, and much, much more. Thanks to each of you for registering and joining us today. If you have a question during the presentation, please place your question in the chat box or simply raise your hand, a little hand at the top that says raise, and we will get it asked. I'm your host, Bob Kessler with Newfields Ag. Today's focus will be on Newfields Ag BioStax products and our DUST+Inclusions. Joining us to share his expertise this morning is Brian Tully, CEO of Lomutech, who holds the patent for the DUST product, and Newfields Ag. And Brian is also the inventor of the DUST inclusion carrier. So if anybody is an expert on this, I think it should be Brian. So he's been through from the start with this, obviously. So welcome, Brian, and thanks for your presentation.
You bet. Thanks, Bob. Thanks for everybody being here. We'll try to get this started and go through. I wanted to focus on the relationship that we have with our farmers and obviously with the Newfields Ag brand of this, and what we're looking to do with these products as we move forward, and then what does it look like for us, as we continue to develop these products, and why Newfields Ag? Newfields Ag looks at this as innovations in your fields, and our team has worked really hard to provide those improvements for every field on your farm instead of just making a one-size-fits-all recommendation. You'll see through this presentation that we have worked really hard in Lomutech to develop products that answer questions that will help implement the climate smart technologies that we're seeing around the carbon sequestration side, as well as nutrient use efficiency. We don't focus on strictly one of those nutrients. We look at all of them and make those efficiencies and management things much more convenient for the farmer to do. We combine science and practical technologies so that we can be a leader in the biological space. And the big thing about it is that as we bring together innovative, leading-edge, sustainable biological solutions through our trusted network of farmers and dealers, we really work with the best practices and best cooperators in the science area that we can find. A lot of the innovations come from companies that are not traded publicly. They're startups, similar to what we are. And by us being able to be on the leading edge of this technology, it helps us to be able to answer this question. As the biological market continues to grow, if you look at the date on this was 3 years ago when this came out, roughly 3 years ago. The biological market is going to be expanding tremendously, and I think everybody on this call has seen that. Whether you're a farmer, a dealer, or a combination thereof, you've seen this where you're getting inundated by options. What does it look like, and where do they go, and which one's the best, and how do we answer these questions, and what works on my farm? So at Newfields Ag, we look at this as 3 key factors to be able to decide, is it a product worth working with? Number one, does it work? Does it work in the farming operation? As always, on the revenue side. Agronomically, does it do things that help the plant be more efficient, ultimately providing us in more yield, and yield is determined by whatever crop that's working on. The ROI side there, so if I apply this and I get a much healthier looking plant but no additional revenue to me, is it something that I should be using? And then how do I implement that into our farming operation? Because the environmentally sound products that we've included into our Newfields Ag catalog and on our Newfields Ag website, as Bob alluded to, have shown the ability to improve plant health or function or both, and show that performance consistently and repeatedly. We go for that 4 out of every 5-year win rate so that we can see the results. Mother Nature always wins. Our job is to compete and participate and focus on those things so that we can be there and help it. And so whenever we look at the wheel of this to bring a new product in, it has to hit all 3 of these phases. It has to have the agronomic benefit. It has to be operationally something that we could bring in and not have to purchase another piece of equipment to try to apply this. And it has to be something that has an economic benefit. So if it's something that requires a lot of extra effort to try to get things going or try to get things moving in the right direction, that's going to cost me time. And as we know in the farming operations now, time is something that's very limited. Our springs are getting much more compact instead of stretching out, and you're not overrun by people that are volunteering to come work on the farm. And so we want to bring things in that operationally can help you by that to include and put services together or implement things with a system that you're already doing that provides a better economic impact and growth back to the farmer. We've developed here over the last year this what we call the full season input approach. At Newfields Ag, we have the ability to go through all 4 seasons of the planting year: pre-plant, planting, post-emerge, and then obviously the post-harvest side, which is getting a lot more interest and where we're going to be spending more time this year as well, looking at the nutrient use efficiency again, and how do we get the stalk degradation piece there so that we can achieve more of those things into the soil. But we're going to be focused on the planting section today. We're going to be focused on looking at how do we include biologicals into the planter box space. How do we put it into an area that you don't have to have a liquid system on your planter? You talk to any implement dealer around, no matter what color of planter they're selling, they'll tell you that there is less of those planters going out with liquid systems on them than there are planters going out with liquid systems. And so we got to looking at the fact that our dust bioinclusion carrier technology that we've had makes a really nice home for that. And then the ability to deliver it and see season-long performance. Dust, we know, provides a benefit early on, but we also know that at day 21 to day 28, we're gone from the soil because the microbes within the soil have consumed our simple soy protein and the lecithin that's there, and now it's ready for the next feed. And that's where the inclusion of these additional products comes into play. And it gives us the ability to have season-long nutrient uptake enhancement or plant stability or better efficiency of whatever you're doing in the planting season. The products that we're going to be talking about today give you that opportunity. One of the big keys too is that what has come out in the last 10 to 12 years as this research has become more public and has become more prevalent is that there are different types of microbes. There are some that work on the outside of the plant, the ectophytes. There are endophytes that work in or can be on the plant as well and have the ability to transfer over cell wall. Then you have the soil-dwelling ones, which can work on those in the soil that are absent of the plant. And so some of you that have low organic soils, or like we call it here in eastern Iowa, some of that easy-to-work ground, you've got some of that sand content in there that no matter what you do, your organics just don't grow. And so your organic materials just don't grow. And so we have the ability through our dust and planter box inclusion products to give you products that are there to provide nutrients to the plant, be able to take nutrients both from the soil and from the atmosphere so you can see those things as we go forward. And of course, then you have the biotech side of this, which is biologicals, the microbial fermentation piece, where they can actually split apart some of these other active biologics and give us a product that is inert that when comes in contact with the soil comes and gives us the additional benefit of that. We're able to provide it because of the innovation we did in the planter box, dust. Dust is a very simple process that's very complex in what it does. Therefore, the biocomplex inclusion carrier technology that you'll hear us talking a lot about today, and you'll hear a lot from our Newfields Ag business development managers in the field, is this very thing, that it was designed and developed to be able to carry and bring that technology to the farmer, to the soil, to the actual seed, so you can see the benefit of that. We're trying to be more efficient, like we talked about, with the development and delivery of the technology that the plant needs to grow. And we do that by being on the seed. Instead of broadcasting the product over all the acres, this product allows us to be exactly on every seed. So we have a delivery mechanism because of our slight negative charge that sticks to the seed, and no matter the planter type. This is also the piece where we talk about the accuracy of inclusion. So the application rate. And what's really nice about the Dust Plus Inclusion products that we offer, and we'll be talking about soon, is that they're at a given rate. 1/2 ounce per unit of seed is where we start with that. Some of you have products that will need more of lubricity because the seed's larger. We've seen that a lot here over the last couple of years. So when you have additional need for lubricity, the dust product at a very inexpensive rate allows you to put that in there where you get additional amino acids, which we know gives additional benefit to the plant every time it has the ability to receive them. And so we want to be able to give you that. And you'll see on the lower right-hand side of the screen there, the microplastic-free side. That's becoming a larger and larger issue as we move into the studies from Kansas State and from different universities showing the microplastics can interfere with the ability of the plant to uptake nutrients as well as water. And as we know that what we're going into this spring, most of us are experiencing a dry start to the spring season and an early start to the spring season. And so as we're doing that, anything that starts interfering with that transfer of that soil water contact, right, the ability of the seed to bring in things, we need to eliminate those. And so we're in that process as well, where we're continuing to build those things. The nice thing about our product is that we can actually encapsulate. What you're seeing on the picture is our soy protein encapsulating a biological inclusion that we've got. And that's what gives the biology and why people are looking to partner with us, because we can give them this kind of result. That it gives it a nice place, a safe place for that biology to reside. And so we have the ability to continue to grow those things and have it not start expressing too early, or not be detrimental. So if it gets introduced to an environment, it's actually protected by our soy protein. In other words, temperature, that type of thing too. We can help control some of those as well. And we've been working a long time to get this process done. This didn't just happen. This took us about 7 years, several $1 million of research to get this, so that we can have a product that performs consistently and gives the benefit of that, whatever the inclusion is, that our product goes to the soil, helps with the singulation of the seed, the lubricity of the planter, and then whenever it does get to the ground, we help with that early plant vigor and allow the biology then to replicate to a point that it's plant responsive. And that's a beautiful thing. About the time that we start decreasing in efficacy, about day 20, 21, that biology has already grown in the soil and on the seed, or in the seed if it's germinated, to be able to be into the plant so that you can have it go. And we get out of the way and let that technology work. It's a beautiful thing about our product is that there's no residue left back in the soil. Everything is delivered to the plant, unlike some of our competitors that are adding things back into the soil that just don't need to be there. Why are we doing all this? This is a research poll done from AgWeb, looking at what do we think about biologics. On the right-hand side is where we tend to live. I see potential in using biologicals 35%, but I need to know more about why we're doing that. What's it matter? And so how do we do that? How do we provide the ability for the farmer to be able to see, and dealers and us at Newfields Ag, what do we need to be able to see to do that? What do we need to be able to start working through to be able to show that what we're saying to you as representatives of these products and of this company, that we know that this research that we've done, that these products that we're representing will be consistent? Because we need you to be around. We need the farmers to be around. We need to be able to provide the information and technology that's repeatable. That is, sometimes, our answers to people are different on different sides of the road because soil types changes, crops are different. There's different demands, there's different pressures, there's whatever it may be. You'll see some of the new technologies that we're bringing out, such as corn rootworm. By being able to bring that out and have a product that is season long, that's completely unique. I mean, the seed trait, whenever it came out, was supposed to give that, and now that's decreasing in efficacy. The inbox or the in-furrow application of the corn rootworm products as well is starting to wash away. Now to have a product that can be delivered in the planter box that is there all season long, so if you have a late flush of bugs come through, of the rootworm come through, or the larvae come through, this can help shield that so that it's not there, so that you can actually see the benefit of that. And the way that we're doing that at Newfields Ag is several different ways. Obviously, we're going to focus on the planter box side, but we also know that there are those of you that have seed treaters, and there's products and there are biologies that work better on the seed. And this is something that makes Newfields Ag unique in our technology and our delivery, is the fact that we look at the individual technology and say, this works best in this situation. And we know that because of the amount of time we've spent with the companies before we bring the products on, and the testing that we do every year. The BDMs will tell you we spend a lot of time asking questions about where's this being applied, how's it being applied, what are you seeing when it's done with these different type planters, these different type technologies, when it's blended with different things, how does that work and how do you make those things go? So we have the seed applied treatments that we can do that to start that process off, to be able to give efficacy all the way through if you have the application for that. If you want to put something onto corn and you want to be able to do that, we have the ability to put a drying agent now that has dust included with it so that you can have the ability to do a dry on that. Same thing on the soy, same thing on 22 different crops that we're in right now as we move forward. These technologies can be applied to that. On the planter box side, which I'll get into a little later, we have a broad scope and it's not decreasing. I get asked all the time, why do you keep bringing out more of these planter boxes? Well, because there's more situations that show up where we don't need to have a broad spectrum product. We need to be able to target something that is unique and different to a particular region, particular crop, a particular growing condition, whatever it may be, and we have the ability to address those things. And by being able to give results that are better, and we improve as we move forward to get these things done. The patented bioinclusion carrier technology side of this thing continues to grow and give us the ability to deliver this technology much more efficient and continue that process of our looking through and scanning the different products that are out there, pulling products out of our catalog, putting new products in, all those things fit with that. Liquid in furrow, once again, if you have liquid systems on your planter, we have the ability to work with that. The foliar application side, through, once again, our coat technology, a wettable powder that we can actually put on there to deliver. Once again, some of these biologies just work better on a living green surface. And so we have the ability to deliver those with our coat product or even without it. Soil application, residue management, and manure management are all things that we're looking at to help as we continue to move things through the system. What's going to be the most efficient way to see the results from the biology or the biotech that's being included so that we can have the ability to grow the products. We're calling these concepts of stacking these into these applications of BioStax. And you'll see that. And the reason that we continue to grow these products is because our dust product and our coat products, the base material, have 16 key amino acids in them. Many of you have seen or read or talked to other companies that are talking about adding amino acids into a product. We already have ours in there. We've identified what they do. We've identified these 16 key. There's more that are in there, but these are the 16 key ones and what they do. We've been able to identify them, then we've been able to look at what they do and what they've been identified to do through research. And so to be able to have that in your base material, whenever we first started, we didn't know this particular piece of it in 2011. All we knew is that when we put it in the soil, hey, the plant came up a little quicker and it was greener compared to the other products beside it that didn't have dust in it. Now we know why. Now we know what it does. Now we know this particular component of it. But the really cool part is that each one of these interacts differently with the metabolism of your soil, the biology that's in your soil, the things that are there, the nutrients that are available. And so by being able to have this spectrum of products, and we're able to answer those questions as we continue to move forward. And as we look at bringing new products in, we figure out, okay, this is what we're seeing. This is a nice base. This is why companies are coming to us and saying, okay, we want to start mixing our material with you. And we'll either do a dry mix or we'll put it within the particle. And we'll talk about what makes a difference with that as we move forward in this as well. The other thing is, as I've talked several times, the placement, the benefit of the placement on the seed or within the furrow or wherever it may be is key. But by using our dust or our coat product and making Dust Plus or Coat Plus type products, is that we can deliver this very effectively and very efficiently. Once again, bringing products in that allow us to see we don't want to disturb your current operation. We want to be able to have products that allow you to implement it without changing the way you're currently farming or doing your operation. Seed coating, a dry seed coating, so a slip shine type product so that we can actually have a drying agent. And once again, have the amino acids in. And right now, we're still working with that titanium and mica type product, right? So that you still see that glitter that gets on everything, right? When you open the jug, any of you that have used any of the products out that contain titanium and mica know what I'm talking about, seeing it in the air. Well, one of the things that we're concerned about, once again, is the environmental side of this. And so how can we do that and give seed singulation and drying without have that atmosphere in the air? So we're working on that as a research project to continue that part of the delivery. The dust particle, Terrastem, B4, the NutriQuire products, all these things that we've added as we move forward to be able to deliver technology that we saw work in the liquid form. But then we got feedback from the field going, yeah, but my planter doesn't have a liquid system on it. I still want to utilize these things. And so now we're developing and we're building these products to allow us to be able to bring them in and then get them back out to you so you can have the efficacy and the efficiency of it as we move forward with it. The lecithin coating gives us another place to include some of these technologies, because some of the biologies we're dealing with, such as bradyrhizobia, that many of you have been around and you've used as an inoculant on your soybeans, it doesn't like the oxygen in the air. And so we have to be careful with that whenever we start looking at trying to use products like that, gram negatives, gram positives, terms that you may not have heard, determine exactly how effective and what the CFU count, colony forming unit count, how effective the actual biology is. It gets affected by things that are happening in the environment. Some of them are sporulated. They've got a nice hard shell around them and can handle being mixed with anything. Others of them can't. And so we have the ability to adapt to that, and that's what gives us the ability to develop products such as our foliar application with Coat Plus, that we can mix it in, have it be a nice mix, be able to go out and be sprayed and be tank mixed with other products. And so we're working on that as well. The big thing about our Dust Plus products, as we start moving forward with this, is that they are greener. We're using soy, 100% soybeans. And so, yes, if you're allergic to soy and you go to use our product, if you try to ingest it in some way, you can have an allergic reaction to it. There's no way around that. It doesn't happen very often. Actually, it tends to be the other way, that people come and tell us how much they enjoy using a product that doesn't stick to them, doesn't stick to their sensors, and the fact that there's the low use rate means there's not a bunch of extra sitting in the bottom of the box. Yesterday, I had a conversation with a gentleman that's got a 90-foot planter, plants at 10 miles an hour. He said, what do I do with this? And so we talked about the application, sifting it over the top of the Pro Box, putting it into the tender, running it through the tender and back out to the planter, mixing it in so that you can have it fully mixed in there. And his first question was, that doesn't look like enough material. Fair. I understand that. Remember, everything we're doing is to be able to mix products and put it in so that it works effectively and brings the efficiency of this operation. We know that low inclusion rate gives us the place to start from. Like I talked earlier, if you get to a spot where the seed is larger, corn or soy is larger, and you need to add more lubricity to it, you can add it. We'd much rather have you add a little more dust than to come back at the end of the day and say, look at all the dust in the bottom of that, was a waste of money, especially whenever you move from a 12 to 30 cent per acre product to a 7 or a 15 or a $20 per acre product. You don't want to be wasting that. And so that's why we talk about the ability to mix those things in. We minimize time that the biology is exposed to this. This is just strictly saying that we keep the CFU count high as we move through there. The other thing that makes it really nice for us is that we're stable for shipping for months instead of hours or days. A lot of our competitors, you have to mix it either day of or week of, and then hope that CFU count stays high all the way through. That we don't do that. You can actually be applying all of our Dust Plus products today. You've got seed sitting there. You've got time. The weather's nice. It's not raining. The humidity's low. All those things that normally affect you in the spring, you could actually be applying Dust Plus products right now today with the technology. That's dust by itself, or any of the Dust Plus things can be applied because of our on-seed stability. Because of what we've given to the market. Many of these products that we're using have a very short shelf life whenever they're applied by themselves. And so with all that being said, you have the ability with our products that we can ship you powders earlier than we can ship you liquids. And so that gives you the ability, flexibility within your system. So as your seed business grows, or as you're trying to service your customers that are growing, this is one of those conveniences that you have with Dust Plus that you don't have with the competitors. And we don't want you to pop a top on something and shake it up. Our new product, our CRW product, because of the EPA, we're requiring some people to do some mixing of that product before it goes. But the beautiful thing is, even that product can be mixed more than a month ahead of the planting time and apply to the seed and be ready. So you have field ready applied seed in that Pro Box. So when the customer shows up, all you got to do is load it onto their tender and away they go. We can also be, because of a dry powder side, because of our moisture content, we can handle those cold temperatures. I don't want it freezing. I don't want it down into the 20s. We're just trying to be respectful of the technology, but you have an advantage with us that you don't have with others. And we're actually manufacturers, so we have no negative impact on planter function and singulation. Remember, we don't want to cause any negative effect on what we're doing to this. All of what I've just talked about makes us feel like this. We spend a lot of time on the how and the why. We spend a lot of time making sure that our BDMs know the how and the why of the product so that they can be the most intelligent person that walks onto your farm, because of what we talked about earlier, about this huge explosion in the biotech space. And so what do we do with that? And so this is us. We spend a lot of time on this side of it, being technical and having the expertise to be able to answer those questions. So when they come up, we have the ability to bring them forward, because we want you to be able to see this kind of efficiency. This is just using Dust or Dust Plus. This is actually a Dust Plus product that we did. Ran it through, put it on top of the Pro Box, ran it through the tender, put it back into the Pro Box, and the picture on the right shows the efficacy, the coverage that you saw on the soybeans that were in that Pro Box. This is the kind of efficiency you want. Remember, we're not trying to inoculate seed. This is deliver singulation, lubricity to the planter, and then deliver that technology to every seed. And the seed, the biology within it can colonize around the seed and the plant and provide the nutrients that the plant needs as it moves forward. Mainly because we are concerned about the pollinators and keeping everything moving and keeping the environment as clean as we possibly can, with the nutrient use efficiency side. Once again, in the current economic conditions we're in, we're all looking for ways to be more efficient with what we're doing. That's what we offer with the Dust Plus Inclusion products that we're going to be talking about. And you don't see the big plume of talc and graphite whenever the planters are used up. A lot of our competitors are still using talc and or graphite for a carrier for these products. Number one, they have to be really careful about when they blend it in. That talc or graphite product is very dry, and it tends to desiccate or kill the biology once it's blended together. 3 to 5 days is the industry standard on what happens with that. And once you get over that, your CFU counts can be to a point that you're doing it for practice. You're really not getting an additional benefit from that. The other is the fact that if I do fire the planter up at the edge of the field and I see that huge gray cloud of product go flying out the back of it, what's going out with it? The reason that Bayer Fluency was created is because of that issue. They were trying to reduce the off-target movement of that material. Well, if your planter fires up and you just spent money on a biological inclusion in your talc graphite product with all the micronutrients that are in there, and it blows out the back of the planter, how much is still on the seed? And how much is still there for the benefit? And we've got testing to prove that we stay on the seed all the way through, no matter what the planter type is. And so whenever you start looking at the products as we move forward, the first one that we start with, which is not a BioStax product, it's just dust. This is where we want you to start with. This is where we want you to know that this is you go back to. This is your home, right? The big key that we've done, and this issue is still coming up with us, is usage rate. We preach low usage rate. From the beginning, we've preached low usage rate. The problem that I didn't do when we started was I didn't give you a little red scoop to tell you exactly what that low usage rate is. And so therefore, we had people that were using the talc graphite application side of, it'll blow out like talc graphite is, so it doesn't matter what you put in there. We're all about efficiency. We have been from day one. We've all about economic return from day one. And because of that, we talk about a half ounce. So the 1 pound bag of our product will treat a Pro Box of corn or beans or wheat. Grain sorghum came up the other day. Same thing. I mean, we can be used in that so that we can be spread apart. Now, if you have product that's a little wet, or you have other issues that's a larger seed size, you can adjust it. But as you can see here, the retail price breaker is 12 cents an acre. On the soy, it's 29 cents an acre. So this is where you get to do the adjustment as you do that. You can accurately apply the Dust Plus products like a Dust Plus B4. So a Dust Plus B4 gives you a 4 bacillus blend. You can do that. It's the same as our liquid system that we've had before, the liquid and furrow side. What I did is I listed off the different components of it so you can see that by doing it through a dry application process through the planter box, we're saving you $1.37 an acre on doing this. Not all of our products have this big of a price savings, but this one, when we did it, and we're seeing the efficacy side move forward, because I'm still doing the singulation, still doing the lubricity, but I'm getting this product onto the seed, and I'm seeing the ability to uptake the micronutrients and the P and K better, and that make it better all the way through the growing season. It's a huge thing about this product. We love this product as a starting point. As far as the BioStack side of this, that we continue to build in multiple forms, multiple modes of action at one time. So you can see it on your corn crop. We have this product available, like we were talking about earlier. Where's the best place to use products? You can get this in a seed treatment. You can get this in a liquid in furrow. And now we have the ability to put it into a dry powder, so you can have it in the planter box. Things to be more efficient, depending on your farmer. So you don't go out with, here's the only option you have. This one, everybody gets to use the same thing. You pick how it best fits your grower and how it best fits the operation. DUST+B4, this is our second year with this product out in a powder form. It worked great last year. It's our fourth year with it in our system that we've been using it, and so we feel really comfortable about how to place this product. The next one I want to talk about is the corn rootworm product that we were doing. This is the one where we have to start blending things together. All right. The small silver bag there is the TS201, which is the innovative pink methylotrope that allows the corn rootworm product to be taken into the plant and be there all season long. That's the key. We saw last year a late flush of rootworm and a larval feeding, and we saw silk feeding as well. And the plants where we had this, we actually saw regrowth of roots. We saw better standability. We saw a crop that was greener into harvest versus the others that had died off or weren't standing because of this product being in there. It doesn't wash out of the soil like you see with the powders that are applied for the rootworm side of it for your insect control. We know that unfortunately that the traits are not working near like they used to be because once again we didn't protect it. And so our recommendation with this product is to make sure that you see it as part of a package. We're considering this to be the third line of defense because we want to protect that as well. We still want you to use a traded corn in heavy areas. We want you to use a traded corn followed by something that you're already using, whether it be a liquid or a dry, for your insect control in furrow, and then come back with this as a technology through the planter box. Inexpensive per acre. Whenever you look at the return, we're seeing anywhere from 0 up to 47 bushel difference, depending on the pressure. And so whenever you start looking at those kind of ranges, we're averaging about anywhere from 11 to 13 bushel with this. Pays for itself pretty quick. And the fact that you don't have to change your current operation. If you don't have a delivery system for something on the planter that's liquid, or you don't have an in-furrow system, now you've got the ability to put this right in the planter box and see season-long performance with it. And that's the big key with us as we move into this. Then we get into the products that we've had for the last 3 years, 4 years now, on the planter box side of this, is the TerraSym products, the TerraSym 450 and the TerraSym 401. I get asked a lot, why is there different products? So if we go back to the start of this conversation, there is different biologies for different needs in different places. And this is another one of those cases where New Leaf Symbiotics has identified this particular strain of methylotrope, pink pigmented facultative methylotrope, I should get points for being able to say that, shows better results on corn. The one in 401 shows better results on soy. I can share the names with you, but right now the technology is the key. That there is people that are looking at what works best where. And so as we get to looking at these things, as we start implementing these products, as we start looking at ways to get them in there, what's the most efficient way to get that done? One last thing on the TerraSym. The reason we ended up with the TerraSym product dry with dust, and we actually blend these products together, okay? So the DUST+B4 is something that we put in the particle. So there is not a separate product in the bag itself. With the TerraSym products, there's separate products in the bag. We blend TerraSym 450 or TerraSym 401 with our dust product. What's really nice about that is it's a very low inclusion rate of their colony forming unit to be able to distribute that out, and our product work really, really well together. So we attach to we bring their particle in and attach to ours, and then it attaches to the seed, and we see it as we go through the field. It works really well. We did that because they were seeing it, as you can see on this, you can get the TerraSym 401 or the TerraSym 450 as a liquid seed treatment. They were seeing efficacy or CFU counts drop every day after they had made it in a liquid form. And so when we started working with them back in 2020, 2019, we started looking at all these products, and we were able to maintain that high CFU count for months. So the beautiful thing about that is that we can keep it in there. And this is one of those products you can be applying right now to get this product out and get it ready for your farmers, is that you've got the ability to apply it and it works great. Okay. So that being the case, you still have the ability to work on it. So it would be a tremendous benefit as we continue to move forward with this, and it gives you the ability of the crop to be able to look at the efficacy of the inclusion in the planter box. One of the new ones that we put out this year that I want to make sure that you see is the NutriQuire Terrasim Dust product. NutriQuire is a product that we source through Yieldmaster Solutions, a liquid and furrow product that we've seen work extremely well. P&K, micronutrient availability, as well as a little bit of nitrogen fixation that's in there. It's worked great. They came to us and wanted to know if we could, develop a product, and so we added in the Terrasim 450 with the dust component. So now in that dust particle, we've got dust plus NutriQuire. That's in one piece, and we've still got the Terrasim 450 and the Terrasim 401 that we can attach to it. So we blend those together. And so by being able to do that, you see that you have a true BioStax again of this material, and in one operation, you're able to have nutrient fixation. You're having the 450, which helps with the flow of materials up and down the plant all season long, so you see better plant health. And then you have the dust side, which helps early plant vigor, so you can get those things going. So as we move forward with that, you'll see on this particular case again, looking at the individual pieces, that whenever you look at the pricing of this, that it's $14.95 an acre for the dry powder in the planter box. And then if you look at the total components by themselves, it's $20.74. So you see a savings per acre of $5.79 on this as you move forward. So there's a question, Bob.
Yeah, I just wanted to make clarification. We do sell NutriQuire separately as a liquid. So it's showing here the price of the liquid in furrow. We have the technology to take that liquid and make it a dry product. And so this whole product is a dry product. So you've got the NutriQuire, the 401, and the dust all in one bag. And it's all dry, but Brian has it here listed just for your cost differentiation.
Thanks for the clarification. Yeah, that's as it says at the top, we're just doing the comparison of the separate components that goes in, and these are Dust Plus products. These are not liquid products. These are Dust Plus products, the planter box side of it. So I appreciate that clarification, Bob. This is the Dust NutriQuire Terrasim 401. So this is the soybean side. Same kind of pricing structure that you see here. But again, developing an individual product for the soy acre versus the corn acre, because that's what you're starting to see as well, is that they are identifying with the different crops biologies and technologies that work best as you move forward, so you can see those. And we've done that as well by being able to make this dry product that's packaged, once again, a ½ ounce per acre. The packaging on the 450 is a 25 unit bag, and the package on the 401 is a 40 unit bag. So you've got those broken down to be able to, and units for us are a bag of corn, a bag of beans, mini bulks, that type of thing, so as you move forward. The next products that we brought out this year, and we've had them out for a couple of years, is the Mica Gold product plus dust. We have it for soy and we have it for corn. Once again, it needs a carrier to be able to bring it forward. It is an excellent product, but if you're going to put it in the planter box, you might as well go ahead and add the component that gives it an extra boost of the amino acids. And while it's doing that, still gives you the singulation and lubricity side. So the bioinclusion carrier technology of dust being included with the Mica Gold products, so the micronutrients, the Bavaria, the mycorrhiza, those things that are in there are given a benefit to the plant. So we're seeing that, and this has been an excellent product. Once we were able to eliminate and offer a product that didn't have the talc graphite piece, we've seen better uptake of the product. People are more willing to use it. The usage rate makes it efficient in its packaging as well. So you see that as you move forward. As you can see, the cost per acre is on there too. The last couple of slides, why Newfields Ag? We know that farmers are looking to us and to you as dealers and leaders in the industry to provide guidance on which biological fits. How does it fit into their cropping system? What do we do? Using our network of our cooperators, scientists that we work with, the researchers that we work with, and the things that we're able to try, we want to bring those forward. And it provides a way to engage in a discussion that's different than just NPK. We talk about being nutrient use efficiency being more prevalent on the farm by being able to provide answers that give us a technology difference compared to the rest of the competitors out there, and continue to grow that by testing, researching, bringing products in, taking products out, all those things. As we move forward, you see the benefit of doing those. And the planter box space gives us the ability to do that, because if you don't have a liquid system on your planter, you still see the benefit of that. The other reason you want to deal with Newfields Ags, the people on this page, they've got a lot of history. They've got a lot of research ability behind them. They've got a lot of ability within their own sales territories, and things that they bring to the table with us, that history behind them, that help us and have more efficient use of our products and be able to communicate things out there. Hopefully you know these people. Hopefully you've had conversations with them, some or all of them. And we want to make sure that we continue to move things forward as well. The other thing I want to show you is, as we move into this, that our Newfields Ag website is where we started with this. And it is a tremendous tool that was built by our team in-house. And you can look at different ways to search for products. And the thing that I wanted to show you here is, whenever you go to this, you can click right on the planter box side of it, and you scroll down, and you can have access to any of this information. If you go to our DUST B4 page, it gives you a detailed description of exactly what this product will do. There's examples of it, and there's even videos to go along with what to do with it. And then, of course, down here, we give you the opportunity to participate with us, and you can purchase it right there on the site. So you can have that to be able to go through. But we give you the ability to have all this information, everything from application instructions, all of that is right here on our website to be able to talk to. And it's very convenient, very easy to use. Anytime you see this planter box logo, it works very well to exchange the information back and forth. So I appreciate your time. I wanted to show you this and the information that's available as we move forward with it. And you have the ability to continue to grow with the product. And we'll be new products coming out all the time. And I thank you again for the information and being able to share this with you today.
All right, thanks, Brian. Are there any questions out there? You must have answered all of them with your presentation.
I find that hard to believe.
So I've got a question. Something that's been in the news a lot lately is the issue of aluminum in our soils. Does our product address that issue as a binder of nutrients, making them unavailable? It's been in the news a lot lately. The amount of aluminum that's in our soils.
There are several things that we've looked at. What we see with the efficient use of this product, these products that we have, it helps to break the barriers down. We have within our system several different products to address extreme conditions like that. Whenever you get on our website and start looking at products such as Growth Bolt or Yield Igniter, things like that can go in and help break up some of those products that have been pushed at high volumes out there that could be negative to that. Our products help break up some of those pathways so that you can reduce and see the benefit of that. A lot of that can be addressed too, Bob, through, like we were talking about with residue management, being able to put those things in so that the materials can be broken down and be taken away from the soil profile so that it doesn't interfere with the actual plant uptake of nutrients. There are several factors, and depending on the area of the country you're in, that we can help address. And that gives us one of the nice things about the breadth of the product we have available at Newfields Ag is it gives us the ability to continue to address individual issues as they arise, so that the farmer can come to us and say, here's the problem I'm having on my farm today. And that's one of the things that I think as we continue to move forward, that you contact your local BDM, your business development manager for the area, and walk through those individual needs so that you can do that with the products that we have. We don't add any of those additional negatives to the soil profile. We don't have anything, like we said, with the microplastic free side as well that would cause a negative impact of that either.
Compare and contrast the B4 with NutriQuire.
Okay, the biggest difference is that on the B4 side, and I'm going to go back over here real quick, and I'll share my screen again, and we'll go back here to look at the product pages real quick. The biggest thing on the B4 side that we've seen that we like about it is that whenever you look at the addition of the product to get access to, I got to reshare my screen here, Bob. So let's see. So whenever you start looking at the product such as B4, it is designed to sit out there, the 4-bacillus blend, to solubilize the phosphorus, the zinc, the iron. It helps with the uptake of those particular microbes. And so if you have areas in the country that are very heavy, where you test very heavy on P and K, or you have some micronutrient deficiencies, this is where we would put the Dust B4 product so that you can see it work very efficiently with that. And it's on as far as a barrier to entry or a cost point to entry in that, as we showed back on the screen when we were looking at the Dust B4 side, you have the ability for $7 an acre to be able to really make those nutrients more available to the plant, and by being able to continue to show plant response. And so you see a yield response with that as well. Whenever you go over to the NutriQuire dust component of that, and I'll stay focused on the planter box side for our conversation here. On the NutriQuire side, you'll see a lot of the similar areas of the P and K side, as well as the as we continue to look at the micronutrient side of this as well. It works. The piece that it kicks in is a little more bacterial component with it. The rest is that you see some nitrogen fixation side, and it gives us a little more root development component as well. So you see some more plant vigor piece of it, that you see the stacking side of it. And with this particular product on the dry component of it, we add the Terrasym piece in. And Terrasym for us works kind of like a primer coat for paint. Terrasym goes into the plant and allows that plant to be more efficient all season long in the uptake of nutrients, whether it be P and K or micronutrients, whatever it may be. You'll see the uptake of those nutrients stand out faster. And so as the biomass of that particular plant continues to grow, the NutriQuire component helps with the uptake. You'll see more fine root hair development, that type of thing that you see with this, and the nitrogen fixation piece. Going back to the complete nutrient use efficiency versus just so the nitrogen with the phosphorus, potash, and the micronutrients. So those are the two contrasting pieces. Once again, looking at needs on individual farm and the field, depending on what the pressures are.
All right. There's also a question about the talc graphite, the polymers that are in the market that a lot of people are using. Talk to the differences of how that affects the biology, the microbes, say you treated it 2 months ahead of time versus the dust carrier product.
Sure. So the talc graphite products, the reason that they can't mix them several months ahead is that they run at 0 to 0.1%, 0.2% moisture. And they're designed to, a lot of times talc is used in the industry as a drying agent. And so whenever you introduce a biology or bacteria that has a moisture content within it next to something that is that low, it's going to pull the moisture out of that. And so when it does that, that shelf life of that material. Any biology or any bacteria manufacturer the biology or biotech manufacturer is going to give you an increased efficacy rate. So they're going to allow for Mother Nature. They're going to allow for transportation issues. But when that CFU count gets to a point that you no longer have an economic threshold where it's beneficial, it gets there much quicker on the talc graphite side. That's why you'll see the competitors say, mix it day of, day before. If you're going to mix it, make sure you're not going to get rained out in 2 days, all that type of thing, because they're worried about that count dropping to a point that it's not economically feasible to get that done. With dust, we have products that we have mixed 2 years ago, and we're still testing high on that CFU count above what that economic threshold is going into this spring. And so that's the benefit of ours. We're running at a 3 to 5% moisture, like it said in the presentation, 3 to 5% moisture within that particle. So we don't take the moisture from the biology. We give it a nice cocoon that protects it so that it can last longer, and you see the efficacy of it. And so that's what you'll see with the detriment of it. Talc and graphite is what we've grown up on. When we started Lomutech and started building dust, we were using 80-20, E-flow. I don't mind, telling everybody that. Think it's a great product. Think it does exactly what it wanted to do. I just got tired of wearing it home. I got tired of eating that stuff. And so now, here I go creating a product that is a lot lower use rate. It has the ability to include products within it, and it gives us, actually, from the testing we've done at K-State, it's better at singulation and better at lubricity, and it lasts longer when it's applied correctly. And this is one of those things that you're using a technology, you're not using a product that's been ground out of the ground that everybody's got no value to. Dust by itself is a very valuable component of these. That's why the people are coming to us and saying, we want to include at 10%. We want dust to be 90% of this component and us to be 10% of it so that we can be on the seed and be efficient with that use of it. And that's what we see with it. And so, as we continue to build these things, the planter box component, as we talked, is one of the places where this technology can be applied. One of the other things is, depending on your operation, depending on what you can add, is obviously starting out with seed treatments and then going to planter box and then going to foliar and then going to the fourth season of this that we're coming into now, which is stalk degradation, manure management, any of the soil remediation products, which we have in our portfolio, things that we're testing to help with, Roundup mitigation, glyphosate mitigation, 2,4-D, all those types of things that we have within our system, we're testing as we move forward with. And you want to be able to do those things. Our BDMs can put together for you programs that use something out of each one of those spaces on that wheel to give you, especially in the economic times we're in right now, a return on your investment. So you can choose those things that work and be most efficient with it. And we even have organic products. The NutriQuire product is an organic product. We have organic B4. So whenever you're doing the organic side of this, we are bringing out organic products that can answer these questions too, which is something that the organic and non-GMO world's been looking for, to be able to get that done as well. And so that's what we see as we compare these things. The other part of it is, we are using something that you as a farmer are growing. So Dust Plus, Coat Plus are soy products that we add soy lecithin to for the lubricity side on the dust. We don't have to add that on the coat side because we want it to go into, it's a wettable powder. We want it to go into solution very quickly. But we're using something you're growing. And don't miss that whenever you're out there and you're trying to make considerations about what we're doing. We're trying to help build this market back up so that we can have a place to go with some more of these soybeans.
So summation of that, talc graphite versus the dust, collateral damage on the meters, on your wear parts, on your planter are much higher with the talc graphite than with the dust. We have research through Kansas State that tells us that. A convenience factor, as a grower, as a dealer, as a seed treater, when you have time in January, February, March, you can treat the seed ahead of time and know that it's still viable by the time you plant it or deliver it to the farmer. And so we do the blending for you ahead of time. You know that it's in the perfect ratios. You don't have to guess how much of this I need, how much of this I need, how much of this I need. You buy a bag and you sprinkle it over the Pro Box, and you know it's the right amount. It's simple, it's convenient, and it can save you money on your wear parts. What's the influence, if any, on microplastic persistence in the soil? Is the product that they've used for the last 4, 5, not 10 years negatively hurting me now?
Yes. So you can go, and we've done studies. We've done studies at K-State. This is one that we did not fund. The USB did not fund it. United Soviet Board did not fund it. But this is one that was happening because they were seeing a negative impact from years of microplastic application through chemistry and through different things. And so they were seeing that, as you can see here. And you can go read this study. It's a white paper that you can go pull down from K-State. Mary Beth Kirkham, a really nice person as well. But you can be looking at this and see what she was talking about here, where you see the water would pool on top of the surface, where you actually saw that because of the microplastic piece of it. Now, we can break these structures apart, right? We have products that can do this, and we can do it over time. But yes, it is causing an issue. And the other thing that Bob mentioned, or that I would like to add to what Bob mentioned, is that there's studies that were done back in the 70s. And by the way, I heard, wife and I were laughing that we heard the other day that way back in the 70s, that hurts, that way back in the 70s is not that long ago. But we were talking about that Purdue and Penn State did studies about talc and graphite could plug that seed as it got ready to germinate. And so that's what part of the issues that you could see. If it's only 2 or 3%, why would you want to introduce something that might have a negative impact on you that could affect it 2 to 3? And their studies showed up to 10% that you could see a difference in emergence. And so with that being the case, you have 2 factors that are working against you, where you have the microplastic piece, as it says on the study done here, and then you've got the ability to do those things. So it's a component that we're continuing to follow as we're looking at. The next one I see, there's a what's microplastic is the next question that came up. Great question. All right, it is within your body, and it is things that you've taken in orally, liquid, or eating them, because they are basically fine ground up pieces of plastic. And it's used in a lot of different places and a lot of different chemistries early on. It was used as a bulking agent, as a way to carry and to give a mixing component to it as well. And so a lot of the early chemistries had microplastics in it so that it was just a standard component of what they were doing. And now we're seeing those eliminated. It's still used a lot, unfortunately, in the U.S. We're still using it a lot. You're seeing a little bit of it starting to come through, but right now, the European Union, which we know that a lot of our major ag companies now are owned by European companies, we'll start seeing it come over here, that in 26, there's going to be an area, the decision was made that by 2026, they're not going to be able to use any products that contain microplastics into their food production cycle.
Yeah, the other thing is, if anybody uses bottled water, as that's transported and made and it gets in the heat, that bottle of water is full of microplastics. Another reason you shouldn't drink bottled water. And then go into the future. I know that we've got, into the future. I know that we've got some products that we're looking at, we're researching, we're actually in the process of bringing on for 2025, and we're looking at for 26, 27. Can you enlighten us on any of those products that aren't top secret?
I'll have to now, since you brought it up. Yeah, some of the things that we're moving into as a company is the micronutrient component of this. We know that, like we were talking about on the application side of it, that our intent is not to provide the micronutrients that the plant needs all season long. But we know that whenever the seed germinates, that it calls or exudates for particular nutrients at a certain level, in a certain form. And our product that we're working with to be able to do this, our DUST+ products, we're expressing more zinc, we're expressing more manganese, we're expressing more boron, we're expressing more copper. We see a little sulfur increase just from the components. So when we do a Dust Plus type product, we're seeing some of those components come through there. Then it's in a form that the plant doesn't have to struggle with trying to get it in there to be used. Some of the other competitor products that are out there that say they're adding more zinc in, it's in a form that's still got to be, it takes energy away from the plant to do that. And we don't do that piece whenever we do the manufacturing side. We're very efficient within the plant. We help the plant to be efficient in its use of that. And so, especially going into planting conditions like we're going into this year, that, we want to make sure that we are providing the least amount of stress to that plant as it continues to grow. As the products that we're looking at fit into that micronutrient space. And we're using the amino acid chelated type products instead of an EDTA. Once again, because of the efficiency of being able to get it into the plant. You will see that product coming out this year in a foliar form first. So we'll be able to actually apply it in a foliar form this spring. It's available right now that we can bring down for that June, July type time period after you see the crop up and going, so we can see the benefit of that. The other we're looking at is expanding that line of the biopesticide, the bionematicide side of that thing as we continue to move forward as well. Because of the efficacy that we've seen with the CRW product, we're going to continue to see that piece of it grow too. And we're trying to be respectful of the environment, farmer, and the end user. So the customer that we're actually selling our finished product to, how do we do that and be more efficient with it? And so that's kind of the scope of what we're looking at as we bring products out.
All right, any other questions? Good questions, thank you. Any other questions? All right, anything else, Brian?
No, once again, just appreciate the time, and obviously contact your BDMs on our website. You've got those things as well. Your local dealers, those of you that are dealers, look on there. Make sure that underneath the Find a Reseller tab, you're there. If you're not, by all means, reach out to your BDM and say, hey, trying to sell your product, and I want to be able to promote it, and get me on that map so we can do that as well. So, thanks again for the time. Thanks again for the questions. We're here anytime you need us.
Thanks, Brian. Thanks to everybody for joining us. Next week will be our last fire up meeting for the spring or winter as we're going into planting season. As always, we hope to see you here next week. Our topic next week will be on Phenom, which is one of the N-Fixer products that we offer, and Frenzy, which is a stress mitigator. If we don't get more moisture in the upper Midwest, we may need a stress mitigator later on in the season. So join us next week when those Phenom and Frenzy will be the topics. Thanks again for joining us. Check out our website as shown by Brian, newfieldsag.com. Be safe and have a great rest of your week.